Now let's get comments from the legit hit Bryan Kyle about his match upcoming with Karl.
Bryan Kyle, tonight you face Karl, one of the most unorthodox wrestlers in Mountain State Wrestling. What tactics are you going to use to ensure victory?
You know what, Jonathan Styles? I need no tactics. I need no game plan. I'm going to go in there. I'm going to do what I do best. Karl, you know what? When you accepted this non-title match with me, you signed your death wish. Do you know who I am? Do you know what group I'm a part of, Karl? You don't know me! Tonight, Jonathan Styles, you better watch out for that lariat, boy, because it's coming at your head.
And ladies and gentlemen, if you're sitting at home doing the crosswords right now and you want a 9-letter word for the future of professional wrestling, look no further than Bryan Kyle.
Will you stop being so partisan? Come on, just call the match. Stick to...
You may ask me to be partisan, but the one thing I will never be is anything less than honest. And you can see a look of disgust by J.C. Dykes for the impromptu, poorly performed introduction that he just received. He's been feeling overlooked for a while, and he certainly doesn't want to be overlooked. He's feeling right now that he should be at the top of the world, and he certainly should be respected after the victory that he just received moments ago. And there you see the Mountain State Wrestling Television Champion of the World, the future of our business, the legit hit, Bryan Kyle.
That's your buddy. That's your buddy. We'll see how Lord Carlton decides. He might have a wrestling clinic if he can keep the gift Raj out of this match.
Wrestling clinic, the man should be put in a clinic. And after this match, he will most likely be put in the hospital. But one thing that I need to tell you that I was noticing earlier this evening when I showed up, when they were in the back talking over interviews.
Oh, Karl with a nice.
You looked over in the corner, you saw J.C. Dykes Jr. and Karl sitting off to the side, not saying a word to each other. You saw the entourage on the other corner of that locker room. They're laughing, but they were talking over strategy too. They have their heads in the game. They have their support behind each other. I don't believe that J.C. Dykes and Karl have the same chemistry that they had 3 weeks ago tonight.
You can never discount Karl. He has a lot of heart no matter where his head is at. Well, he pushes your boy into the corner.
Well, he may have a lot of heart, but if he gets caught with that big lariat by Bryan Kyle, he's not going to have a head on his shoulders.
The crowd getting into this match, getting behind Lord Carlton.
And you see Kyle and Sir Carlton circling each other. Kyle comes out of the corner but stops himself before he incurs any damage, and he fires back with those big right-hand shots to the jaw of Sir Carlton. Sir Carlton, the big reversal in the Irish whip, comes into the corner, and a nice flying forearm smash into the corner. Comes off the rope, pulls it up with a clothesline. And he sends Bryan Kyle to the outside. And this is not what I would have expected at the onset of this contest. The only thing I can think right now is Bryan Kyle may be playing a little bit of cat and mouse with him, just toying with him, letting him think that the advantage is his, while he goes to the outside, destroys the momentum, and gets back in the ring to devour him for lunch.
But I do have to ask you, these guys, you know, Bryan Kyle, we're waiting on him to get back in the ring, but I do have to ask you, Steve, is what Carlton's doing, do you think, like, whatever's wrong with him, whatever is going on, do you think it's getting into the head of Bryan Kyle a little bit?
I certainly don't know if it's getting into the head. If anything, the one thing that might be distracting at this point is how absolutely ridiculous Sir Carlton looks. And it's like I said at the beginning of this match, Sir Carlton certainly isn't all there. He thinks he's a knight of the round table representing England. He suddenly believes that Yorkshire pudding and scones are something that a grown man would want to eat in the Mountain State. And a man that thinks like that is a man that doesn't think like a redneck. And if you don't know how to think like a redneck, if you don't have that killer instinct, if you don't have that presence of mind in a contest like this, you're not going to walk away the victor. You're going to walk away with your head held in shame like the mangy mutt that Sir Carlton really is.
Bryan Kyle whipped into the ropes.
And a nice hip toss by Sir Carlton. And you see Kyle going back into the corner, but he's in the ropes. Sir Carlton cannot continue his onslaught at this point. And that's what we're talking about when we talk about ring psychology. You always want to know where you are, and when you're in the corner, when you're in the ropes, your opponent can't freely go to town on you.
He's in the corner with his buddies in the gift garage. I mean,
And what corner would you rather be in as the champion than the corner of the gift garage? If ever there was a group that's going to have your back, that knows the meaning of the words respect and loyalty, it's the gift garage. And you see Bryan Karl just holding on to that arm lock, just torquing the wrist of Sir Carlton, making use of his leverage advantage, sending him off the ropes now. Sir Carlton reverses it, going for a hip toss, but he gets caught! He gets caught with one heck of a lariat by Bryan Karl. The legit hit, getting ready to put him to rest this early in the bout. Bounding off the ropes, going for an exclamation point, big leg drop across the throat of Sir Carlton that's already nearly been decapitated. And only a 2 count. Bryan Karl can't believe it, and neither can I.
will you please, just for this match, stop being partisan? Just for this match.
Stop being partisan. A moment ago, you were asking me to be partisan.
Oh, be partisan. I'm sorry. Excuse me.
And you got me all flustered. You see Sir Carlton in there, weaving back and forth, bobbling around as much as you do during the contest, trying to make believe that a Cinderella story is going to strike twice when it's obvious that Bryan Karl is not going to let lightning in a bottle be a product that Sir Carlton can purchase. Bryan Karl makes a big splash. Sir Carlton follows it up with a drop kick, and he goes for a cover.
1, 2, oh, kick out at 1.
Bryan Karl first went to his feet. Oh my God! Oh my God! Concussion City!
That was a massive insecurity kick to the head of Carlton.
And for a man that's already lost so many valued brain cells over the years, I don't know if the referee should continue to allow Sir Carlton to continue in this contest.
Well, what's Bryan Karl? He goes off the ropes and a big splash on the chest of Carlton. With a 2 count only.
Bryan Karl questioning the referee's count, and I certainly would at this point. The referee's obviously been slowly counting, trying to give Sir Carlton that chance to get the win he's so desperately dreamed of for so long. But it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. You can just see him looking up, just begging Bryan Karl, please don't hurt me anymore.
Well, Carlton with some shots to the jaw of Bryan Karl.
Sir Carlton
right in the turnbuckle.
Sir Carlton ducks the lariat. Big headbutt into the head of Bryan Karl. Just a repeated series.
Headbutt after headbutt, just brutalizing Bryan Karl.
You know, often I have very little trouble keeping up with descriptive terms for a maneuver that's used in the contest, but that headbutt maneuver of Sir Carlton is so favored by himself and his brother that there aren't enough descriptive words in the dictionary to call the way that they perform them.
Well, Carlton with this huge side Russian leg sweep got a 2 count.
You see Sir Carlton's making a big mistake right here, keeping his eyes on King Richard when he should be watching Bryan Karl. And whoa, whoa, almost, but the presence of mind by Bryan Karl and King Richard firmly shown in that exchange. Sir Carlton reverses an Irish whip. Big clothesline, flying clothesline by Sir Carlton.
And look at King Richard here.
What did King Richard do right there? What did he do?
He reached in the ring and grabbed his foot. Oh my Lord! A little bit of hate in the gift garage right there.
Roll about nowhere. And the put it down. I can't believe my eyes. Ladies and gentlemen, lightning has struck twice, and a Cinderella story. A Cinderella story is indeed in the making for the boys from the trailer park. And I can't believe my eyes. And certainly Bryan Karl can't believe his eyes. The gift garage has got to be wondering what's going on here. They're the hottest faction in wrestling, and these two boys who grew up eating grits, who grew up wondering where their next meal was coming from, getting ready to eat their pet chicken for breakfast, have somehow managed to pull out 2 massive fluke wins. To answer you, I didn't like it at all. And anyone who has a brain in this arena didn't like it.
Well, the big story coming outside of this is there's some tension going on in the gift garage. I mean, you saw what happened there.
You think there's tension going on in the gift garage? That's not tension. That's disbelief. But you can better believe coming out here next week when a television title shot is offered to Sir Carlton, their head's going to be in the game and they're going to be on the same page because that's what they are. They're winners. They're champions. They keep their head in the game.